Welcome back, everybody. This is the thejonnymar, and I'm continuing with Final Fantasy I: Dawn of Souls. So off camera I did a little bit of grinding. I got my characters up to level 9 and amassed enough Jill to outfit them with all of the best equipment and also the best magic spells that are available to me at this point in the game. And so what I will do is I will head into town now after I show off all of this. I got all the level 2 spells I was interested in, including Blizzard, Temper, and Dark. And I also got the level 2 white magic spells, although they're not super useful, but Silence, Blindna, and Null Shock. And what I'm going to do next is head into town, and I will show off some dialogue, which will help you if you are playing this game for the first time or, you know, whatever, and you want kind of an idea of where to go next. So we get our thanks from these citizens for taking out the pirates in the last episode. We find out that there aren't a lot of ports for ships to the north, which means we're probably going to have to head south. Yes, yes, the pirates are no more. You are certainly welcome. I would have liked a reward of some kind, but your thanks is good enough, I guess. There's an old guy way over here. I think he used to be in the upper right corner of the town, and he's from the town of Melmond. And so that is an area that we are going to go to eventually. We can't access it right now, so make a note of it, and we'll head out there in a while. And then if we head to the west side of town, this is where the key information is. And no, it's not talking to Bicky. He's gonna buckle down and become a hard worker. And no, we do not believe you, pirate scum. Uh-huh. Repeating the same stuff. All the guys with blue hair say the same thing about this woman. So there's our clue. Elves live across the sea, and the elf prince has fallen into a deep sleep. Get out of my way. You're gonna repeat the same thing? You must be twins or triplets, like the triplet boys in Link's Awakening. And so I think that is about it for this town. So we want to head to the Elf Kingdom, and to get there, we're gonna have to head south and west with our ship. So let's show that off here. And when you are on the water, you are going to get into random battles. And so let's showcase where exactly we need to go. As I mentioned, we have to head south and to the west. So it's down here to this point. So let's head in that direction. And hopefully we won't get into any fights, but you never know. Come on. That's Cornelia up there. That was that port we just passed. Alright. Made it. And then we get into a random encounter. We got a new enemy here, the ogres. Well, these guys are good because they give you a lot of Jill, actually. So they are good to fight. And in a little while, I'm going to talk about grinding hotspots. And these guys are, along with their brethren, the ogre mages, are good ones to fight because they will give you upwards of 500 Jill per battle. And they give you an okay amount of experience as well. But let's head into the Elven Castle and see what's going on here. So Estos is the one that's put the prince into a deep sleep. And of course, it's up to these random strangers. They don't know we're the Light Warriors. But it's our job to help them. Otherwise, we're not going to get the treasure from this castle, which includes, if you remember, the Mystic Key. So here is the prince, and he is sleeping hard, as symbolized by capital Z's. He's been asleep for 5 years. That's a hell of a curse. Must sustain the body during sleep, because obviously he hasn't eaten during that time. Unless he truly is a magical person. and I didn't mean to go outside. So let's head back in. We have some more people to talk to, get a little bit more information. Ugh. Dang it. No, I want to talk to this person. Come on. Aha. Her name is Matoya. Nice. So that's a clue. Remember, Matoya is looking for her crystal eye. And in exchange for that, she will probably give us a potion. Now, the question is, what kind of potion might she give us? Well, we're going to have to continue to explore to find out exactly what that is. And here's our next location, the Dwarves of the Aldean Sea to the northwest. We'll be checking that out in a little bit once we finish up talking to everyone here and also in the town. And if you head over to the right and head north and around the castle in this direction, and hopefully don't make the mistake I did and head outside, here's another Mystic Key door. So we really want that Mystic Key because it's going to give us a lot of treasure. Alright, so let's head into Elfheim. Talk to some citizens. Alright, we'll do our best. Now there is a ton of stuff to purchase here. On the original NES version, you could buy the Silver Sword, which was an amazing sword, especially for this time of the game. And it's so amazing that they actually took it out of this version. There's really not anything worth picking up in terms of weapons. The stuff you got back in Pravoka will carry you for now. So we have our House of Healing, we have some other elven citizens, and there's some good armor for us to get as well. These elves are just kind of sitting around waiting for something to happen. So iron armor we got already. Copper armlet, not really worth it for the cost. Iron shield, some leather caps, and a helm are all worth purchasing. So we have enough Jill, we'll do that right now. Oops, I didn't mean to buy 3, I only needed 2. Oh well, I'll have to sell one. And we'll get the iron shield. So let's optimize everybody. Now in the NES version, all of this stuff costs way more. So you are going to have to grind like a fiend to be able to access all of this. And you're going to want to, because the next dungeon, which is called the Marsh Cave, is relative to the level you're at, one of the most difficult dungeons in the game. And hopefully we'll get mithril armor and weapons soon. So items like the weapons and armor, instead of being, you know, around 100, they're going to be a couple hundred Jill a piece. And the thing that's going to cost the most, here we hear about the ancient castle to the west. That is our next destination after we visit the Dwarves. So that'll give us our last clue as to what we need to do. But we also have magic shops in this town. But the magic is what is costing so much. So in this version of the game, they lowered the cost a lot. So you have level 3 and level 4 magic in this town. You have Poisona, which is a good spell. Cures poison. Fear, not so useful. Nullfrost is helpful for a couple of the areas of the game. And Vox, not a lot of enemies use silence, so it's really up to you if you want to get that. Now there are a ton of enemies in this area that can poison, so eventually we're going to want to pick that spell up. In the original, you can usually get by with just buying pure potions or antidotes. But for us, it's not prohibitive for us to buy it. We have Sleepra, not super helpful. Haste is one of the most useful spells in the game. And I really wish I could buy it right now, but I can't. But it doubles your attack turns, so if you cast that and Temper on your fighters, they will do ridiculous amounts of damage. We also have a Confuse spell, and the second level Blizzard spell, which actually is more powerful and hits all enemies. So that is very useful to pick up eventually. And then over here to the east, we have one more person to talk to. No one knows where Astos went. He's the one that cursed the prince. We have some gravestones. Here lies Link. Huh. Legend of Zelda Link? Maybe. Now in the original it said Erdrick or whatever, the name of the hero in the original Dragon Warrior translation. It was kind of cool, kind of linking the games. That was before Square and Enix had merged together. But here is a lot of the good stuff. We want Cura eventually, which restores more HP to a single target. A stronger Dia spell for fighting undead, which are very annoying. We'll want the Null Blaze spell eventually as well. And Heal 2, which heals your entire party. So the first spell I'm actually going to go for once we get enough Jill is Heal, because we want a way to heal everybody. And then for black magic, we have the fire and thunder double level spells, and you don't really have to worry about the other two. Hold, which paralyzes, not super useful, and Fokara reduces evasion. A lot of these status ailments are bugged in the original, so you really just want to go for the attack and healing spells, especially since they cost 4,000 Jill a pop. That's right, 4,000 Jill. So you are going to be grinding for a very long time. And like I said, in the original, you want to grind. You want to get up to around a level 10 to 12 before you take on the Marsh Cave. You'll notice I did buy some antidotes just in case we get poisoned, because there are some spiders and also some snake enemies in this area that can poison us. So now we're going to go to the Dwarf Cave, which is in the northwest at this point on the map. So let's head up that way, and maybe we'll actually take on some sea monsters now. Most of them are pretty weak. Don't have to worry too much about them. Now the big guys, they're an exception. They like to paralyze your party, so you want to take them out as quickly as possible. In a group like this, it's not too bad, because they'll only get one person at a time. You can usually kill them pretty quickly. The Sahagins really just do a little bit of damage. Now these guys have pretty high evasion, so especially in the NS version, you want to use your thunder spells. For now, we're pretty good at hitting them. Now the other major enemy to look out for on the seas is this, the shark. How fortuitous that we ran into it. This guy can hit pretty hard, and you'll sometimes get into fights with multiple of these, so you have to be careful. Not a lot of HP, around 200, so we should kill it pretty fast. Like so. And these different colored areas are actually rivers, and we're going to need a different vessel to use those later in the game. Yeah, this game has a lot of different ways of transportation. But let's get off here at this port, and we'll head to the south and also to the west. Gained another level, so now we're all up at 10. And the Dwarven Cave is just over here through this little passage to the west. We get the annoying sound in the background. Lally-ho! Now, I prefer the original translation of Final Fantasy IV, which was Rally-ho. But they did change it to Lally-ho, so we'll go with it. Find out that sound is being caused by Narek, who's trying to essentially create a canal so that you can access the other parts of the world. We find out we need a crystal eye so the blind can see. That's what Matoya wants. And there's the key point. Astos is the one who stole Matoya's eye. So, to get a potion from Matoya, as we get some Jill here, over 1,000, we need to give her the crystal eye, and to get the crystal eye, we have to beat Astos. Here's the smith. You want some adamantite. Should be a familiar substance to Final Fantasy vets, and he'll create a wonderful sword. And we find out the earth is rotting. There's actually an earth fiend that we're going to be taking on very soon that is causing that to happen. Let's see if we can find that annoying sound and maybe stop it. Probably not, but you never know. Lots of tight corridors here and another Mystic Key room. But here's Narek. As long as we're talking to him, the sound stops. But what he wants is nitro powder. or Pooter, their crazy accents, and it'll blow a hole in this wall here. And like I said, that will open up a canal so that we can access the other parts of the world. But that is getting ahead of ourselves. Our next task is to go after Astos and see if we can beat him. And before we do that, we're gonna get some supplies in Elfheim, and we're gonna grind a little bit before we do that. We're gonna get up to around level 12 to 15, get enough Jill to get some key magic spells to help us out in the Marsh Cave. And if you are following along, I would definitely encourage you to do so as well, especially if you're playing the NES version. So now, what are some good places to get experience in Jill? Well, there are two kind of key places in this game that you can build levels at this point. One of them is around Elfheim itself. And so that is where I'm actually going to go. It's the easiest place. It's a lot of enemies that give you a lot of experience and also a good amount of Jill, like those ogres. I'm going to stop off here in Cornelia and save and heal at the inn as well. Now the other area is infamous as the Pyramid, or not Pyramid, Peninsula of Power. So the world map is actually split into grids of different enemies, and for the most part you're limited in terms of enemies that you can fight. Now this little peninsula up here to the northeast of Pravoka, which you get to by following this route, actually has enemies from much later in the game. So if you spend some time leveling here, you can gain ridiculous levels and also Jill very early in the game. But it's tough. So what I'm going to do is head down here, just to the west of Elfheim, and fight in this forest, which is where there are some stronger enemies that give you better experience in Jill. So I will be doing that off camera, and once I achieve all that, I will come back, show you what I got, and then we will head onward towards the Marsh Cave. So as always, viewers, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode. And join me next time as we go after Astos, the King of the Dark Elves. So long.